Up next, another article from Eurogamer, because why go anywhere else?
Right. Why not? I mean, they've got everything for us.
Destiny 2 fans find Bungie has doubled XP needed to level up. So this is kind of a thing. I feel like I didn't.
You ready for this? Ready for this?
Hey!
Those are bright engrams. They don't necessarily show up very well on the TV.
Yeah, they're a little blown out, but that's cool.
I mean, you know how hard it is to find a bright engram online with a transparent background?
Can't even
It
imagine.
is 100% not easy. So we always I want to preface this. We always talk positive about Destiny 2. There have been negative things.
There's been plenty of negative things. We're really easy to please and pretty open-minded when it comes to that.
We
to
are.
Destiny.
But there are concerns I've had with Destiny 2 in that I've kind of been running out of stuff to do, right? And that's okay. I'm okay with playing other games, coming back to Destiny. We just raided last week with a few friends of ours, and it was awesome. It was better than expected. We did really well, and we really liked the raid mechanics. It worked for us. It worked for teammates. It just was fun, enjoyable. We didn't all mute our mic and throw stuff across the room. That was only some of us, and it was short-lived. It was a good time, though. That being said, there's been some sketchy stuff happening with Experience Bar.
Yeah. Which I feel like I haven't noticed. But that being said, I wasn't paying attention to it.
But there was a Reddit post probably a month and a half ago. It was right after launch, and they noticed that it was taking a little bit longer each time to get bright engrams up.
Yeah.
And they started doing some stats and thought there was like an exponential growth, and then their research just stopped, and we didn't hear anything for a month or two. So I thought, okay, they probably realized they were wrong, or it like topped off at a certain point.
Yeah.
And we're fine. Like I didn't notice a huge drop off in bright engrams. I felt like I was getting them. Yeah. Usually if we played it 2 hours every night, I'd get a bright engram, and that was good enough for me. Sometimes I get 2.
Yeah.
Most of the time I just get the 1.
We don't play Destiny 2 as much as we played Destiny 1.
That's true.
So that's probably why I didn't notice. But out of hours during a public holiday, Bungie was forced to respond to a firestorm of controversy over the past weekend. After Destiny 2 players discovered the game frequently can constrain progress towards your next free loot box style bright engram. I have a my light just went off. I had a backlight that's battery powered and it died.
Yeah.
I should charge it, but I have a sub link to the article of kind of explaining, and there's a graph in there if you want to look at it. And but there's a hidden scaling factor that ramps up as you earn XP more quickly. The scaling factor will increase at least to the point where you're only really earning 4% of what you should. So public events will only ever earn you 50% of what they say, as the end of the event XP alone is enough to trigger 50% scaling factor. To get one thing clear, there's no capped XP. You can keep earning XP as fast as you want, and you will always be making progress towards that next bright engram. You'll just face dramatically diminishing returns the faster you go.
Yep.
Essentially, this is probably why I haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Is that I get in, I play a couple public events to get like Flashpoint done.
Yep.
And then we jump in and do like Nightfall and then
Crucible,
and then by the time we're doing all that, we're doing trials and whatever.
Yeah.
So I haven't noticed, but I imagine if you're farming public events to try and get stuff done, try and get to the next thing,
get more bright engrams.
You notice.
Yeah, you would notice as it starts to tail off. So currently, we finally got a response, and the problem I have is Bungie's always been kind of hit or miss with communication.
Yeah.
Right. They'll go dark on stuff for a couple months, and they'll come back and they'll promise transparency, and they'll do a bunch of stuff, and they'll do really well, and then they'll kind of tail off, and we go through those phases with them. And so this was one where they were silent on XP up until about the time this broke from Reddit to a real website, and the website started referencing the Reddit post, and then all of a sudden 6 hours later we had this post from Bungie. And they said, we've seen community discussion around XP gain in Destiny. After reviewing our data, we agree the system is not performing the way we'd like it to.
Doesn't matter if you agree, it's happening.
Today, we'd like to describe what's going on under the hood and talk about what you could expect going forward when it comes to earning XP. Currently, XP will scale up when playing longer or fixed duration activities like Crucible competitive multiplayer matches and the Leviathan raid. And XP will scale down when playing activities that can be quickly, repeatedly chained, like grinding public events. We are not happy with the results, and we've heard the same from the community. Effective immediately, we are deactivating the system. Hold on. I am actually okay with that system that they had. That doesn't bother me. I don't think the point of the game is to go and sit there and grind the same thing over and over every 10 minutes, and that's stupid and pointless and not fun. And they're trying to tell you, hey, That's not fun.
Stop.
Like, it's just stop doing that. And I get that. They're like, hey, look at all these other things you could be doing, earning XP faster and seeing the whole thing the game has to offer. And we're like, oh, but I want to play the game my way. Like, well, you can. So it's whatever. I get their point. My problem is, one, they didn't tell us about this when the game launched. Yeah. They didn't tell us about it when the concerns came up 2 months ago. They didn't tell us about it until someone called them out in a somewhat media-friendly environment. Then, when they started getting reached out to for comment by reporters, they came out with this very prepared statement that they clearly already had ready to go. So why wait this long? Yeah. If you're just... I don't know, it's just stupid. I don't like how Bungie responded to this. It's not good.
I think they probably could have come out and been like, hey, we're sorry. We didn't tell you. We should have. We're not going to change the system, but it's there. Here's what it is. Here's why we did it.
Yeah.
We're done with it. Nothing else needed to change. We're like, we're left the system in because who cares? Like, at the end of the day, the people that care are the people that play it for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you probably need to find a different game to play or keep playing Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Like, this game is designed to be played like that. Less than 24 hours later, fans found that Bungie had quietly made another change when switching off XP constraining code. The amount of XP needed to level up in Destiny 2 has now been doubled. So, I mean, I guess if it's not constrained and doubled, why does it matter?
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of they did come out and say that they hadn't updated the APIs yet, so the numbers were looking differently, and so we still don't really know how it's all going to shake out. It just looks really shady, and it just of all the things to be shady about, like, who cares? Like, if you're gonna change it back, okay, fine, make everything the same.
All things to be shady about the free thing in the game.
Yeah, like I get people are like, oh, well, they're trying to drive you to buy them. I'm like, yeah, because it's cosmetic stuff that doesn't matter. Like, it's fine. It's still like a level of RNG, which if it was me, I'm not gonna spend money on something I can't guarantee what I'm gonna get.
Yep.
That seems silly to me.
That's dumb.
I don't like that. But if you like that, then go for it. That's fine with me.
More power to you.
Once again, all cosmetic, doesn't affect me. And so they didn't handle it well, and I don't like it. The XP thing's kind of the big problem. We don't really mention it in this article that we had, but they talked about like the Pop-Tart codes, right? Where you would get the double XP or like the Rockstar stuff with medallions and stuff like that. It's like those rates were different because we didn't know that the XP rates were different from these events by doing public events a bunch of times in a row. So now people are like, oh, well, I spent money on these Pop-Tarts and used these codes and they didn't work as advertised because we didn't know that the XP was nerfed. So it's kind of a gray area that, like, if you're going to pump all this stuff about, hey, go get this and get this, you'll get double XP and you'll double XP for playing with your clan and you'll get this and you'll get that. And it's like, okay, well, why don't you tell us how the XP system works? Because this is pretty corrupt. So it sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a relatively small thing.
Yeah.
Like, the Pop-Tarts, Rockstar thing could be a little bit shady, but at the end of the day, you also got Pop-Tarts and Rockstar out of it. So
there are worse things too much. In this world.
Yeah. If you bought if you bought those things for Destiny, you probably buy them on a quasi-regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So don't be too bad.
So it's the interesting thing here is this isn't the only thing that's been kind of controversial. They've had this DLC coming out, Curse of Osiris, right? They always do these streams beforehand. They do 3 streams right before new DLC, showing off the activities you can do, showing off the world, some of the new characters, and then showing off like the weapons and armor. Well, the last one was the activities one, and it did not go over well because they were talking about how well things could be rewarded and how really good this system was going to be. They're kind of hinting at some quality of life changes. And then they finished like this heroic adventure, which is going to be one of the new features in the DLC. And he got 2 tokens and a blue piece of armor. And so it became a running joke everywhere. 2 tokens and a blue. Like, they made a shirt about it. This is all over Reddit that week. And it is not good. It was a terrible thing. So they had that. They had the XP stuff going around. Like, there was early reviews of the DLC coming out saying it was kind of short and didn't add a lot of content. I'm like, well, yeah, it's DLC for Destiny. It's going to add like 3 hours of stuff.
Welcome to it.
We know that. That's how it's going to be. Then there's going to be a raid. There's going to be strikes, whatever. It's all about repeatable content. So they were supposed to have another stream on Wednesday. And when you guys are watching this, is currently Friday. Tuesday they announced with this little gem here that they decided to cancel the stream, their money-making hour-long endorsement of their DLC. And they said, tomorrow, we had planned to conduct the final stream, prior to the launch of Curse of Osiris to show off some of the weapons and armor the expansion includes. Instead, we are investing all our efforts in delivering some higher priority info about Destiny 2. You'll hear from our studio leadership. They'll talk about goals for the game going forward. You'll also learn about how we're reacting to your feedbacks with some game updates that are going to be arriving soon. So we have been waiting for 2.5 months for quality of life changes, right? Token system sucks. It's not really a great way to do loot. Can't buy loot from vendors. It's all RNG. The faction rallies isn't really great. Iron Banner is kind of poorly done.
Worthless.
It's so there's a lot of things that need tweaking and need adjustments.
Yeah.
And they decided to cancel their stream. And that's actually really big of them because that's a stream if you ever have watched Bungie's Twitch streams, we're talking hundreds of thousands of people jumping on Twitch for it. Like it's a big deal. Like it's huge. It's how they sell a lot of their stuff. It's how they build the hype. And they canceled it so that they can focus on what's important. Now, Bungie does this. This is their cycle. They go months without saying much of anything substantial. And then they come back in with a rush of information and transparency and talk to you about everything and communicate and get back on the forums. And then they'll go away for a bit. So by the time you guys are watching this, we'll already know what it's about, and we'll already see what they were going to talk about us on Wednesday. I really hope that we see like a definite road plan for what the quality of life stuff looks like. There's just no benefit to doing the end game other than you have fun doing it, right? Yep. Which is fine. I don't mind that motivation, but there's no carrot to chase, which we've talked about before. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they change things, how they change, if they make changes to the weapon system, having random rolls or stuff like that. Very interesting, but it's time to move on.
Get on to the next topic.
Gosh, the timers are just not.
Turn off the timers.
I did.
Are you sure?
I must have done it differently. Anyways, that's Destiny 2. I don't like crapping on the game. I don't. I love the game. I enjoy it. And I think it's got a lot of potential. I'm really excited to see what they have to say this week and kind of go from there. So, what's up next?
Moving on to the next one, and buckle up. This one's kind of long, and we may have to take a pause in the middle because the camera might run out of space. But Epic Games is suing cheaters, which on one hand I'm proud of, but on the other hand it feels weird, and we'll dig into that. So in October, Polygon learned that Epic Games has filed suit against 2 individuals for making and using software that allows players to cheat in the game Fortnite. Since then, the publisher and developer has filed a suit against at least 9 more individuals, both in the United States and overseas. Mm-hmm. Unsurprisingly, at least one of them is a minor. So we know this because a new and unusual document has entered into the court record, a sternly worded and legally savvy note from his mom.
I was actually really surprised. So this is a super interesting story.
Hardcore surprised by the note here.
It's basically what happened. I'll kind of give you the nutshell because I don't want to spend 20 minutes talking about this idiot kid. So this kid cheated in a game. He went to a website, freely available, free cheats. He cheated in the game, did whatever he did to cheat in the game. He got banned. Well, if you dig into a little bit further, he actually kept creating new accounts, and he got banned 14 different times with different accounts, different alternate stuff,
which he will deny in his YouTube video if you're curious.
Yeah. So he then the problem is that he basically puts up a how-to video on how to do this, sends out links for how to do it, and then monetizes it on his channel, right? So Epic Games sends him a DMCA, says take it down. There's 1,000 reasons why this isn't okay. Yeah. So he filed a counterclaim against that DMCA takedown, which, if you don't quite know how this works, basically Epic Games is saying, hey, you are violating our copyrights by monetizing content to show people how to cheat in our game. You can't do that. That's illegal. So take your video down. So when he files a counterclaim, Epic Games has 2 options. They can either drop the DMCA takedown notice, or they can sue him. So what did they choose to do? They chose to sue him.
Good on you, Epic.
Yeah. Like,
hot dang.
That's
awesome.
Some people will read this story and gloss over the facts and see like, oh, they're suing a 14-year-old because he cheated. No, they're not. They're suing a 14-year-old because he monetized a video on how to cheat in the game, showing people how to cheat. What was the kid's argument here that he said it was okay?
Here it is. So, quote, I'm not in any way trying to ruin the community for fun. Whoa. Yep.
That's what
I just read that out loud, and what's coming next is what triggered it for me. I'm just trying to do everything for fun. I cheat for fun. I don't cheat to win. I don't cheat to win, to get good at the game. I just cheat for fun. So what you're doing is cheating for fun. Like, you're ruining the community for fun. Like, you're playing against other people, beating them using cheats for fun.
Yep.
That's only fun for you. Like, if you had a private game set up, like if there's a way to set up a private game and you're like, hey, me and 99 of my closest friends are going to get on and we're using cheats. Oh, who cares? Literally.
Right.
They did this in GTA all the time before this whole like Take-Two taking down whatever. But it was just like, this is a like public games that you're going in and cheating and you're probably winning.
Yeah.
So yes, you're winning by cheating for fun.
Yeah, it's not really good reasoning, but he is a 14-year-old kid. So he put up like a 7-minute response video.
Did you watch any of it?
I did not, because I can already like feel how bad it is. But he basically admits to cheating and says he did it, right? And then he still talks about how he cheated in this video about cheating.
I did watch some of it.
Yeah.
And I expected going in and hearing like a squeaky kid.
Right. It wasn't.
He sounds fully like an adult.
Yeah.
And but it's just him. It's him talking over like modded GTA gameplay, which is like, oh, so you're using cheats in GTA while you're talking about cheating.
It's ironic.
Which is, it's whatever. But he's like, they said, first of all, this thing said they took it down like 40 times. It was nowhere near 40 times. It was like 10, but whatever. And I was like, you're still doing it. Like,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
You're not defending your case here.
Yeah.
You're making it worse. And he didn't say anything in there. He did a pretty good job of dancing around, like not actually like implicating himself.
Yeah.
He would say, yeah, the case is still ongoing, so I'm not going to talk about that. And he would basically say, they said this, which is, I mean, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, whatever means you don't have a counter argument for it. You're 14. You're putting your opinion out there on the internet, which maybe is legally binding at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure how that works.
It's interesting. So
he put up was like, oh, it's freedom of speech or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't like stop them from using it in court,
yeah,
does
that's
it?
not how it works. We're not saying
Like,
that
you still said it.
Yeah, we're not saying you broke the law. It's freedom of speech, is a totally different thing. It's not. So we get to what his mom said. We're only gonna read you part of it because I don't understand all this legalese. Like it's heavy. Like she either like Googled a lot of lawyer terms or maybe is a lawyer herself. She said Epic Games Inc. failed to legally bind underage users with their EULA agreement, because everyone reads that, which is a contract between the licensor and purchaser establishing the purchaser's right to use the software. This being said, the game itself was in fact free. No purchase of said game occurred. I think that's kind of a really shaky leg to stand on.
You have to agree to the end user license agreement if you didn't know what EULA stood for.
Right.
You have to agree to that before you can play the game. And so he's a minor, but him clicking agree is essentially her taking the responsibility for it. Because she would have to be the legal representation, legal guardian,
right,
saying, yeah, that's
He's
okay.
18.
Then technically it falls on her shoulders that he cheated. So then she owes Epic Games $150,000.
Yeah. But then she's saying that she didn't issue parental consent, and since the game is free to play, the court should consider dismissing the case against her son.
How that works.
It's not really how it works. We're not lawyers, so if we're getting it all any of this wrong, feel free to correct us. But I feel pretty confident in this, that while it was a strongly worded email that she clearly knew what she was talking about, it's not quite there. Like we're not talking about cheating. We're not.
That convinces us to drop it. That does not convince lawyers.
We're
to
not
drop
talking about how easy it is to cheat. We're talking about putting up a video showing people how to cheat and trying to promote yourself from it, and then counterclaiming against the DMC takedown for obvious copyright infringement because he's modifying their game for his own purposes and then showing people how to do it. Like that's any way
where it comes in. Like, I
It's
think she's focusing on the fact that, like, oh, well, he didn't pay for it, and I didn't. They're like, oh, there's this gray area in here. I'm like, no, there's not. There was still an end user license agreement that was like, hey, you agreed to these terms to play our game.
And I do know that EULA, it doesn't really hold up in court very well because people know that they don't read it. So while people do say it's not necessarily legally binding, so it can't really be like the end all be all because the claim, and I think there's precedence in the court to say people don't read that, so we can't sue people based on that alone. So that's part of it.
But the fact that this isn't the first offense, he's been warned before, and they're not being like, hey, we're suing you, we're trying to get this money for you because you cheated in our game. It's the video. It's you're trying to make money by modifying our game in a way that we said in our terms that you can't.
Yeah.
That's where it is, and I think that's where mom has taken a left turn and been like, hey, like you can't sue it because of the game. It's like, we're not. It's because of the video.
Yeah,
it's just the game is the vehicle towards what we want.
It's really interesting. The writer of the article in question said that it could set a precedent for how free to play games operate within EULAs. They operate with underage people. They operate in situations like this. It's I don't know. It's really weird. It's kind of funny to sit here and think about.
Funny on this end.
Yeah.
What's the other guy going through? Like this is there were two people in this whole lawsuit thing. We're only talking about the 14-year-old kid,
right?
But the other guy,
the other one, we don't really know much
just like
about.
back up and be like, "Oh, sorry, my bad."
Yeah, I would just take it down, done, and end of like. There's just, man, you getting sued for something. It's just not worth it.
Yeah,
there's nothing that's worth it.
If you get a letter from the lawyer at Epic Games and you see $150,000 in there, you're like, "My bad.
Yep.
I will take everything down. I'll even pay you for like a founder's pack of the game. Like you go ahead, you take it."
Yep.
But Epic has been good since this came out, like since Fortnite came out. That was like, cheaters, nope, stop.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take legal action if you keep it up. And like, oh man, good on you guys.
Well, it's a lot like PUBG and what they do. It's like it's really important to be able to nip that stuff in the bud. So it's really interesting. And then we didn't even talk about what about the site developing the cheats for it? Like, how does that fall into it? Like, does Epic pursue them for stuff like that? Is that kind of like a free thing? Where's the line with that?
Maybe they can't because those guys aren't making money on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Where's the legal precedent for something like that? Like, I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. It's weird. There's links to the story in the descriptions below. Check it out. I kind of want to keep following it because I want to know what happens, and maybe we'll do a follow-up story on it later.
That'd be cool.
In another podcast because that's just funny. But for now, that is it for our show, guys. Thank you so much for watching and liking and commenting and showing us all the love that you guys
Googly mooglies.
The googlies and the mooglies.
Yeah. If you guys, again, this is a new format, so if you're getting with us now, it's either the end of Friday or you decided to wait until Saturday and watch it all. Let us know what you guys think. Do you like getting it in smaller chunks so you can watch it throughout the week? Maybe pick up on stuff that you like more than others, that sort of thing. Or, just let us know. We're going to do this for a few times and just kind of see what happens. Just trying to, reach more people. So let us know what you guys think. Remember, on Twitter at IR Games, or comment on any of the platforms you're listening or watching on. And
we'll see it.
Then we'll know. Yeah, I'm like a hawk. I don't miss anything you guys say.
We have nothing better to do.
Mm-hmm.
Truth. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye. Guys, thanks for watching. If you want to see more, click down here somewhere. Ish here for a playlist of videos. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, click on James's nose. Boop. Boop.